Welcome, everybody, to tonight's episode of Margs with the Boys. My name's TB for Good, and I'm here with the boys.
Woo! Boys!
The boys!
How's it going, boys?
Dude, I'm having an interesting week. I'm having an interesting week. Tomorrow is the official quote unquote last day that I'm going to get paid by the stock market people. So
Nice.
that's interesting. You know, I'm gonna. Scootish is clapping for all of our audio listeners.
Moving on to bigger and better things. Hopefully.
Yes, yeah, I am. I am. Hopefully, we're going. You know, but how are you guys?
Cool.
You know, Jyggy 11, I'm glad you asked.
I am. Yeah.
Not good.
No? What's
I'm a
wrong?
little hurt.
No.
What's wrong?
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Boys. This morning I was woken up. I was woken up by something frightening. I just heard my doors crash down. Boom. Dust everywhere. Shrapnels of wood everywhere. And then, Doug, do you know what I see in the doorway?
What do you see in the doorway?
I see nothing.
Oh,
I
good.
see nothing but a lock of orange hair. A red menace, if you will. And all of a sudden, this menace vertical leaps about 5 feet high up into my bunk bed with me. And all of a sudden, he's standing over me, brandishing two ninja swords. And TB, before you even say anything, yes, they are of the Nerf variety.
No.
Are we gonna get another bit for season 2? Like, are we gonna at least get another bit for season 2? Like, what's the?
Oh, I'm
Listen,
sorry.
no.
I'm sorry. Did you get to? You got to like sleep today. I didn't. I was attacked by an unknown assailant.
Well, I've now fallen down a rabbit hole of looking up famous NBA redheads since Jyggy has a 5-foot vertical leap. I think he's gonna.
I was
he's
gonna
get
say.
on that. It's a pretty
Damn.
sparse market.
Is something. Oh
Well, you
man.
know what, Scootish? I had a pretty similar situation, actually.
Shut
No,
up.
no,
TV, tell
no,
me
you
all
didn't.
about it.
Okay, middle of the night last night.
That's when
I'm
he
laying-
likes to strike.
I am lying in my bed, trying to fall asleep. Out of the corner of my eye, I see what I think is a shadow. I wipe my eyes to get a clearer look at it, and it's gone.
Can I ask you, TB? Did it move so quickly that you thought it was merely a gust of a summer breeze, if
I
you
didn't
will?
know. I didn't know what it was. It just disappeared.
Sure. Oh, no,
so,
my God.
So I thought my mind must have been playing tricks on me. You know.
Of course.
So I
Naturally.
turned over, and went to go to sleep. About half an hour later, I hear a loud.
What happened?
I look outside my window.
Yeah.
And there, in a crater, by a strike of lightning, there's a red-headed figure brandishing 2 ninja swords
Oh my God, TB.
of the Nerf variety.
No!
Boys, I have a confession to make.
Oh my
Okay.
God, Doug, what is it?
I can't show anyone because we would be in violation of the Twitch terms of service, but I've
Okay.
got bruises and scars because of Nerf Ninja swords.
No.
Yeah. I'd try to keep it short here because
I understand. You know what, boys? I can
I'm
tell
here talking.
the three
I'm
of
here
us are
talking
having-
like a real legitimate thing, motion in my life here, like a real legitimate change in my life here, and you three are talking about freaking me in a cloak running around like freaking Samurai
Listen,
Jack.
listen, boys, it sounds like we've all had a tough day. So you know what? Here's what I propose. There's only one thing that can help solve a sad mind. A McDonald's Happy Meal.
Not sponsored.
A Happy Meal.
he
A
does have
Happy Meal.
one.
So I'm
You
gonna
actually
dig into
have
that,
one?
and I think it's gonna bring our frowns. I think it's gonna bring them upside down.
What's the toy? What's the toy?
It's that for that new wait, what the fuck?
We're not even 2 minutes in. You got Yoda?
Dude,
That's not what we...
it said Luca.
Yeah, you can't Yoda.
I was gonna do a Luca D's nuts joke.
You can't Yoda these nuts.
Dumbass Yoda
Yo.
and an Imperial Star Cruiser.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yoda doesn't ride
Why
this
is he
ship.
there?
It doesn't even make
Stupid
sense.
toy.
Did you just chuck
Okay,
it across
but
the room?
He doesn't get it. He's
Okay, but
never
does it
in one
float
of
in your
those.
bathtub? That's an important question.
Oh, is it like
No,
a
it
rubber
came with-
duck?
It came with photon discs that it can shoot.
Oh.
You can defend yourself now. At
Yeah.
least.
I don't even
You-
want to. I wanted a Luca toy. I wanted a Luca toy.
You have
so I
a
could totally
ranged
phone Jyggy 11
projectile
and say, Luca
to
these
hold
nuts.
off Jyggy 11 with Nerf ninja swords.
From Yoda in a
boys,
Star
this Happy
Destroyer.
Meal isn't very happy at all. I asked for Cajun sauce, and they gave me tangy barbecue. That's like the American version of Cajun.
They are probably out of the BTS sauce.
Dude.
Guys, this Happy Meal is not very happy at all.
Anyway, so TB, what are we talking about today?
We're gonna take a little step away. We've done 9 episodes so far, all of which have, in one way or another, been largely based around video games. And we kind of want to spread the love, you know. We want to talk about more topics than just video games. So we're going to talk about the movie, TV franchises, maybe a little bit of video games, but not predominantly, that are seeing a lot more mainstream success to the point where maybe they're even overdone. We're calling this franchise overload. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I
I
love
think
it. We came up with
McDonald's
it together.
owes me a fucking Cajun sauce and a Luca toy.
We do have, this is a pop culture and video game sort of podcast, and we, as you say, have shown a lot of favoritism toward the video game. So I'm excited for a first foray into this possible recurring type segment of,
what?
I guess, type of show that is franchise overload.
You know what, boys? What a beautiful, beautiful metaphor I planned by getting a Star Wars toy when I asked for a freaking Luca toy. If this isn't a franchise overload of Star Wars, I don't know what is.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm excited though to talk about this and to kind of move into like Doug said, that hopefully this is going to be a reoccurring show where we can dive into a couple of these big franchises and talk about all that stuff. But today we really just wanted to talk about franchises and everything that has come, honestly, within the last 10 years, really. Like, yes, I think I can start us off here. There were many movies that kind of went full-on franchise. Every single year you'd see a new Friday the 13th, every single year. And this was like early 2000s, even, late 90s, you would see a lot of these movies that would come out every single year. But in reality, I don't think they really got full success until the big boys took over. And I feel like that was the last 10 to 20 years, in my opinion,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Big agree with you.
Yeah.
Big agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely it's been around a long time, this type of concept of especially at the end of a movie of a new franchise or whatever is dropping in the last 30 seconds is kind of like sequel bait, where they're like, oh no, look at that. And then, they gotta entice you to want to spend more money at their next movie and stuff. They gotta, it's a job for them as well. And they're trying to, it's easier, I think, generally to start with something people already like and go from there versus starting a brand new IP.
Yeah, and
True.
It's funny that you call the last 30 seconds to a minute sequel bait in most movies, but then and I know I don't want to dive in quite now, but we can look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a great example of they didn't even want to do that. They didn't invent the post-credits scene, but they've more or less solidified this post-credits scene to kind of basically say, almost like they do on television, stay tuned for scenes from our next episode. That's something they used to do on Survivor. They still do on Survivor. Yep. They've done it on TV for years. Let's show an episode preview for the next movie or the next show after the credits. And so
next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yep. Yeah, they've done it for years on television, and Marvel kind of brought it into the world of TV or of movies, where to the point where whenever I would say the last 5 movies that I've been to, which I don't go see movies that often. Everybody at the movie theaters, we could argue all you want. I don't like movie theaters. I want to stay home and I want to watch them on my big TV with my cayenne pepper popcorn. Okay, all right, that's what I want. When I went to those movies, the entire audience, I would say maybe like a quarter at max, actually left before the credits. They all stayed.
Oh yeah.
And these weren't even Marvel movies. They were just random movies.
Like, that's how it always used to be. Is like there was nothing but like after the credits. Like my family was weird because we were the weirdos that would stay during the credits just to be polite or whatever. And then we were rewarded when this type of thing happened because we were the only family that was still in the theater.
It's a cool way that movies can like trick you into like staying and supporting the people that like worked on the movies that weren't necessarily the big named actors. I will say, however, this post-credit stuff, I'm so sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
For Marvel, I get it, but in the Heights, you do not need to do that. Lin-Manuel Miranda, how dare you?
Wait, is there a post-credit scene?
Lin-Manuel Miranda
No, I haven't watched it yet, but
okay, well, he's the Piragua guy, and there's a Piragua numbers where he's singing about like, oh, I hate Mr. Frosty because he like steals all my he steals all my customers. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Frosty is an ice cream truck that runs around New York City, and it kind of screws over Piragua, which is like frozen. It's like the how do you describe it? Snow cones? A little bit, yeah, snow cones.
Yeah.
And then there's a Piragua reprise where like the ice cream man's truck breaks down and the Piragua guy gets all the customers back and he like makes fun of the ice cream guy. And the Piragua song is in the movie, but then the Piragua reprise is after the movie. And because like the ice cream guy is Chris Jackson, who's a close friend of Lin-Manuel Miranda's, and Lin-Manuel Miranda just put himself in the movie like 9 times for no reason. But the post-credit scene for that movie does not need a post-credit scene. We did not need to know the Piragua guy has an arc.
See, but it's interesting that you said that because you just said, oh, the Piragua guy has an arc. Oh, they added more story development after the movie. Something that Decobra said in the live stream chat right now was talking about comedies where they do outtakes after the credits. So one of my favorite ones, favorite ones is Pixar with Toy Story 2. And that's totally non-canon, obviously just them having fun animating the outtakes from the recording sessions. And in my mind, that's fun, and yes, I'm going to stay and support the movie if I get to watch that. But in reality, that didn't add anything to the movie. That didn't add character development. So it's interesting the fact that In the Heights has a post-credit scene that adds to the story, canonically, because they wanted to, you know?
Bro,
Yeah.
it's so weird.
Rush Hour had very good outtakes. I thought that was going to be your example, but yeah, they had fantastic credits outtakes.
Probably would have been a better example than
Yeah.
Toy Story 2?
Oh, that's brilliant. Like that was just like that was the thing that some movies did, and they just jumped on the train.
We actually cannot mention Toy Story 2.
Oh,
when
true,
I'm around.
true.
Please don't.
It's a
Oh yes, I forgot.
We
But
have
those
to
scars
move
are
a-
emotional.
move away. And I want to preface, I do not look like Al in Toy Story 2. I just don't.
But yeah, like talking about these movies they're also good examples on what our main topic is for movies that maybe they go a bit too far, like Toy Story. It had a solidified ending, in my opinion. The newest one, they came back kind of unexpectedly.
Mhm.
It was a pretty good one, I think. But other
Did we all
series
see Toy Story
don't-
4? Did we all see it?
I
didn't
have.
see
Yeah.
3
No?
or 4, honestly.
Well, 3
Really?
you should. 3's magical.
I
3's
know I
magical.
need to watch 3. I know it's very
And
important.
so it's
I
funny
would
that
say 4 is
TB
worth watch too.
Yeah. So TB and Scootish say that 4 is worth watching, and I think TB, you said that it's a good entry, and I think the main
It's
you know, I don't want to dive too far into Toy Story here, but I'm actually on the other side of the spectrum where I say 3 should have been the ending. of that story. And if they wanted to do more, they should have been right off the bat doing things like they're doing now with the Buzz Lightyear prequel story show gimmick.
That looks awesome.
That's a perfect example of what we're getting at. Though.
I still think that's a perfect example of what we're doing. Yeah. You know, they're going all in on these things that like already exist. We're not like getting any like not getting any crazy new idea. You know, I understand like, you know, there's an old saying where like we've told all the stories now. Like,
yeah,
there's like I don't remember the exact quote, but like there's like 20 stories you can tell, or some it's like some insane number.
Yeah. It's just like like the graph of like, you know, the ups and downs of the story, and like you're following those. Yeah.
At least we were getting like new characters, new ideas, new worlds. Now it seems like a lot of the ideas that like were being shown in like movie theaters and largely on television as well are just ideas that are like from the same universe, just from a different character's point of view. Or like it's just a sequel after sequel after sequel. Like, where does it end?
Yep.
Like, I know Toy Story 4 was the example that Jyggy brought in. I'm just gonna bring this up because I'm pretty sure I've heard rumors even for a Toy Story 5.
I don't think they need that.
No, definitely not.
Don't. But it's such a solid idea.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a brilliant universe and it has charming characters and people love it. Like it's dollar signs for like these executives of these companies. And like and Techno and I are having a little text fight over in the document, but just putting in like TV shows and stuff that are good examples of it. It just feels like American television really just will like milk every second out of every show. Like they'll add so many new seasons where it's like The Office like lost half of its main characters and like, but they were like, oh, it's a cash cow. We got to stay on it. Like we're really getting.
Oh, Supernatural was really bad,
and that's the networks. A really good one.
That's the networks.
And I wanna touch on this. I don't know how many of you guys, and I'm gonna use this one because I think this is the great jumping off point here. How many of you guys have ever watched The Walking Dead? AMC's The Walking Dead.
I have.
Yes, I have watched it.
Watch it.
That I think every single Walking Dead fan out there will say I used to watch it. I do not know a soul, not even my parents, that still watch The Walking Dead. And the reason being, and this is the number one thing, The Walking Dead ran out of source material like 5 years ago, and they have currently been stretching the same like last comic book for like 5 seasons. They've slowed down so far because it's AMC's only show that makes them money. It's crazy. Every other show that they've thrown, other than like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, has completely fallen off when it comes to a generic fan base. So they need it. And AMC, they've spun it off twice. They have a whole show now that's kids in the Walking Dead universe. They have gone crazy with we need more zombie show.
It's Muppet Babies, but for Walking
Dead
kids.
It is. It's Muppet Babies. It's what's a pup named Scooby Doo, but in the Walking Dead universe. I think it's like called like Walking Dead Beyond or something like that. I don't know what it's called. But it's funny you say it, TB, that I used to watch it, and I'm sure we can talk about all these other shows here and discuss that. But it's specifically because AMC says, we cannot stop producing some sort of Walking Dead content, and because we will go bankrupt. That's more or less what it is.
Gamers, good news. McDonald's included a milk.
Let's go.
Did you order the milk?
It's
free milk.
Yeah, it's very
like robbing a cow.
It's very interesting. But I have another
milk
question.
Just like AMC does to The Walking Dead.
God, McDonald's knew. They knew what was happening on this show. They gave you Star Wars. They milked you.
Oh man, they knew it. McDonald's knows how to treat me right sometimes. Let me tell you.
It really hits the spot.
I have a question for you all, and then we can talk about these franchises and all these stuffs. But what was the last original movie? And when I say original, I mean not tied to a franchise, not tied to an IP, that not tied to an already existing experience that you went to go watch. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I absolutely remember.
Well,
GB, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, what is
A
the
Quiet
sequel?
Place.
King.
The original A Quiet Place. They recently just made a sequel, but A Quiet Place.
Yeah, they did make a sequel very
Yeah.
recently because, well, I mean, but think about it. Like every time someone comes up with a new IP like that, like
Mhm.
for any type of media, for a movie, a show, a video game, whatever, fans are asking, when's the
Yeah.
sequel? Like,
And John
the problem, too.
Krasinski even said he didn't want to make a sequel, but then he did.
I
loves
would
money.
say The Quiet Place 2, though, so far exceeds most movie sequels. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I've yet to see it. I'd like to see it before
It's
it gets out of
very
theaters.
good. I will not spoil it, but it's very good.
Cool.
I think the most recent movie that I've like gone out of my way to see that's like new. Oh shit. I'm forgetting the name of it. Damn it. It's the new Pixar movie.
Luca? Does that count?
Look at these nuts in your mouth.
Got him.
Got him.
Does that count though?
Got him.
I mean, does Pixar count? I guess it counts.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
wouldn't it count?
I mean,
I
a
guess-
lot of
I
times
guess-
they do come up with like new stuff.
But
Like,
did you watch it
with-
specifically because it was Pixar, or did you watch it just because you wanted to watch it? Did it look? Because in my mind, it doesn't look interesting at all. I haven't watched it. People are probably up in shambles, but I'm not interested. But I'm gonna watch it because it's Pixar.
I mean, I mean, we're going into a different art. We're going into
Yeah,
a
you're right,
wild
you're right, you're right, you're
argument
right.
here.
Right.
'Cause, like, that has to do with the studio. Like it's a new franchise. It's a new world. It's new characters. But like, I see Dark Cobra in the chat as well, bringing up Pixar movies are all have references to each other. So aren't they sort of their own meta franchise? Let's not get into the crazy
The
Pixar
theory.
theory here.
The theory.
We're
Oh.
not going to.
The
Yeah, well, I mean,
theory.
what I was gonna bring up, what I was gonna bring up was Hateful Eight was probably one of the last movies I saw.
Oh
in theaters.
yeah, that was a
And,
good movie.
Yeah, that's like an original idea. Like, there's arguably part of this same canon or whatever of all the
Yeah.
Tarantino films, but like that was original.
Wait, in 2015?
Yeah, look, I don't go to the movies.
No,
very often.
I'm with you there. So
Crazy.
the last movie that I went to go see in theaters that was an original concept was Jordan Peele's Get Out. That was the last one I.
Okay.
That's insane.
It was
to me.
2017.
Yeah.
That was the last time
I saw Parasite in theaters.
No.
That's
And
insane.
So here's I guess my big thing is, do you guys think that it's nearly how possible do you think it is to create a new IP or a new movie nowadays and actually have people go watch it? Because I have a great example here, but I want to know what you guys think.
A new movie?
It's very
Get a new
challenging
movie.
because, yeah, like you either have to have an established franchise, I think, that people latch onto, or you need to be a studio that people trust with like
Yep.
new stuff. Like you need to be like Miyazaki films, like the people love his anime movies, or you need to be
See, but
like Tarantino.
anime is a whole different story though, because that community just is different in the way they consume
Sure.
the media, where they go out of their way to find new anime most of the time.
True. Well, how about Tenet then? Tenet was who is that?
Oh, Christopher Nolan.
Chris Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
like that's an action film director that people really trust. But still, you couldn't watch anything else without seeing like an advertisement for that or a preview for that or whatever. Like they still had to very, very, very much like put out a ton of advertisements. Their marketing was probably in the hundreds of millions of dollars for that, because it was I couldn't watch a YouTube video at all. Like every single one I would watch would have an ad for that. So it's very challenging, I think, to get a new IP out there. So especially if you want capital, if you want someone to fund your movie, produce your movie,
Especially if you're like me and
leg
take
up.
every avenue to avoid advertisements. Like I
Mhm.
pay for YouTube Premium, and I watch people I'm sub to on Twitch so I don't get ads and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And So I don't see very many advertisements for anything. So
It's
and there's
yeah.
probably plenty of people out there like me that don't get exposed to that. So, but
Absolutely.
that's where the like franchising and sequeling comes in, because something that people already love, uh oh, sequel announced, it's gonna blow up on Twitter, it's gonna get to the people that like that immediately
Yeah.
without
Versus like, check
advertising.
out this movie. It's called Parasite. Like you
Mhm.
see that on Twitter, you're like, okay, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't see any of the footage. You don't know what the premise is, anything like that. Like, and it's not like a sequel. It's not Toy Story 4. You don't already
Yeah.
know that you're gonna like it.
That
Type stuff.
movie.
It
Let
is
me tell
good
you
though.
about
Yeah,
Parasite.
I hear very good things.
That's a powerful movie.
Yeah. Or like Knives
Like,
Out. We've already mentioned a couple times. Like brand new thing.
Hmm.
yeah.
What is? Yeah.
It
Go
it
ahead.
I hear what you guys are saying 100%. I definitely side with what you guys are saying. But I don't know. I just feel like it's so easy to like make money from franchises. So
Mhm.
like that's why people do it. And it's so hard now, especially with like the Disney Fox merger. I think
Mhm.
Disney now controls like somewhere close
32%
to like 32%.
of
I think
all
it's more.
media. Of
I think it's
all
more.
media.
I'm talking just box office.
No, but just vodka? Oh, I don't know. I'm talking of
talking
all
just box
media.
office.
All
I'm thinking
media
movies.
created on the planet Earth, 32% is owned by the Walt Disney Corporation.
Right. And I'm just talking movies right now. But even then,
Yeah.
I'm like, how much? Like, that's pretty damn close to a monopoly. But like
Yeah.
Disney kind of controls like what?
It is a monopoly. The fact that 30
Yeah.
again, I'm talking about literally video games. I'm talking literally all media. And yes, I don't know what the number is for
Right,
just
but
movies.
but definition wise, a monopoly is like over 50%.
But still, 32%
Well, I know.
owned by
get it.
one
That's
company.
an obscene number. Right, but that's not how the laws are written. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Oh
that's-
well, let's not talk about the laws, which
Yeah.
are written to favor that type of thing anyway.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
At present.
Sure. No, but like, you look at what Disney's doing. Disney's doing Star Wars, Disney's doing Marvel. Both those things are like pumping out like Disney Plus show after Disney Plus show, having a giant movie release like every so often. Like how can like other studios not want that? Like why wouldn't you want to do that for your own property, your own
Yeah.
franchise? So like I think that's why we end up with getting like 9 million Minion movies or 9 million Fast and the Furious movies. It's a way to be like, look at like this that like Disney does not have. We're beating them now.
Yeah,
Also, can we just sidebar real quick?
Okay.
I thought this in my head before we started stream. I worked the minions into that last sentence to bring up this idea. Instead of Mario versus Rabbids, we need minions versus Rabbids. Who's down? Who's with me? Let's go.
That's a big one, dude. Who would win?
Yeah.
Minions versus
Yeah.
Rabbids. The same
I
actual
don't know.
thing.
They both suck so hard.
It's like you look at that. It's the thing that it's the same picture. You know. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
how it is.
Absolutely.
it's a mirror, but in between the mirror is different mediums.
Yeah. And
Mario
it's
versus Rabbids versus Minions.
it's interesting because there's a lot of
Three houses.
I remember 2018 was a year of some wacky movies that came out that were absolutely destroyed by franchise movies. For example, I think Quiet Place actually did not do. How well did Quiet Place do? That came out in like April, if I'm correct.
Very well.
I think it did fairly well. Yeah.
In theaters.
Let me look it up.
I'm
$341 million.
Yeah,
okay,
that's really
pretty good. Yeah, I mean it's not
Yeah.
crazy, but it's pretty good. But for a really good example here, there was a movie that came out in I think it was either February or March. It was right before Infinity War, because Infinity War came out in April, if I remember correctly, of 2018.
Yep.
And that was the big one. Obviously, you could not complete it if you were in theaters while there was a Avenger movie. You were not going to succeed. It just wasn't a thing. So there was a movie that Natalie Portman was in. Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac, Tessa Thompson, Gina Rodriguez, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and then of course Natalie Portman. And it was a movie called Annihilation. Did any of you see Annihilation? It was a sci-fi movie.
No,
Never even heard of it.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
exactly. Decobra in chat does not like it. The movie had a budget of $55 million and made $43 million worldwide. Nobody saw it, but it had decent cast and it was actually a pretty good movie. I mean, Decobra says they don't like it, but I thought it was a very fun sci-fi adventure movie that was not tied to any other franchise and had a predominantly female cast that were actually really good actors, like really good actresses. If I remember correctly, it was a big movie that touched on like depression and like self-destruction and stuff like that. It was really cool. It had a lot of undertones that I really enjoyed. It made like $2. That's the issue, because it was competing with, at the time, a lot of different movies that were in the theaters, that were franchised. So I mean, it's interesting to me that like Quiet Place did that well, because it was so close to Infinity War. And if I remember correctly, Infinity War blew everything out of the water for like 2 months. To the point where it was still,
I mean, naturally, it's Infinity War. It's the infinite war. It's in the title.
It'll never end. The infinite sequels.
Infinite sequels.
Well, that leads us slightly to another thing we touched on a little bit, is a lot of these are sort of cross media. Like all these Marvel movies are based on comic books. Things like Harry Potter and the Hunger Games and Lord of the Rings are based on books. So that's another thing, is like, let's take this thing that's successful that people like and adapt it into a movie, because we know people will want to see it because they're fans of that. And now, I mean, it used to be in 2000 or something, like if you watched, the Spider-Man or whatever that was out, like it was kind of a niche thing. There weren't very many comic book movies. And now it's like the top movie is going to be about these comic books that used to just be for nerds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's completely true.
Nerd culture is cool now.
Yeah, it's when you think of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, they were. I mean, I love those movies. Don't get me started. I love Sam Raimi's trilogy of mess with Tobey Maguire, and I'm interested. Yeah. There's a lot of rumors about them nowadays, but it's one of those things where they were not popular. Nobody was sitting there like, I can't wait to see the next Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna combat you right now.
You think they were?
I think they.
I know there were, because I think I can actually
compared to now.
This. I think I can explain this now. I think I can explain this, because there was a person that was excited waiting for the next Sam Raimi movie. There was someone waiting for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4 movie where it was going to star Mysterio. It was me.
Yeah, me too.
It was you.
We're nerds.
Yeah, exactly. It was kids. I think why these things are so popular now is because, like, we're now the adults. We're now the people that they're marketing to. We have a deep-seated connection to these franchises, and those sons of bitches in their ivory towers, they know it.
Called nostalgia marketing.
If they slap Wizarding World on anything, we'll keep supporting a turf like J.K. Rowling. They know if, like, the minute, like, here's a cool story about the same clones of the same 4 guy, no one cares. All of a sudden, bam, it's a Star Wars TV show. I'm not missing a goddamn episode.
Nope.
They're using our childhood, like, memories and nostalgia against us. I don't think it's only nostalgia. I think there are a lot of good Marvel movies. I think there's a lot of good Star Wars stuff as well, but they are definitely using, like, our love for our childhoods and our love for these movies against us to get us to keep coming back and to introduce our kids to it. So then, like, when they're our age, they go, oh man, I loved Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9. Those are my favorite. I don't understand why people hate episode 9 so much.
No, but
Like,
it's
people
funny
have
though.
that
No,
argument.
it's funny though that you say that, Scootish, because here's a really thing. They've already done it. This is a reoccurring thing. For example, again, I'll stick with Star Wars here. My dad went to see
I'm
Star
just
Wars.
saying, I think it's happening to a greater scale
Yes, I think so too.
because during our generation, like,
Yeah, we have
like,
more
I
means of
don't think-
consuming
I don't think this
content.
yeah, I don't think this is a brand new thing.
No.
At all. I think
Mhm.
this is more like, oh, we now have digital media.
Yeah.
We can pump these suckers dry.
Yes.
Yep.
And I
that's
think
what
you're
they're
right.
doing.
I think you're 100% right, but I mean, it's definitely, it started off, I mean, like I said, my dad saw Star Wars, he saw the original trilogy, and then guess what? I was 4 years old, and there I was watching Phantom Menace with him in the theater. That was it. I was conditioned from an early age to be obsessed with Star Wars because of my dad. That being said,
Sure.
it's one of those things where I agree with you. Where now we have so many new ways of consuming content that we have made it that it's just kind of a part of our world. So I think the big thing that I want to touch on here, to go over to here to Doug or not, is Doug says they're based on books or comics, or they're based on something. The source material already exists, and then they make films or TVs or movies out of them. They have tried that for years and years and years and years, and some of them work. Look at Marvel. Some of them, little messy. Look at the Percy Jackson.
wonky.
You guys remember Percy Jackson and the Olympians? They made two movies. One was a mess. One was okay. Scootish just made the best face. You want to? Yeah.
Yo, can I be honest?
Yeah.
Never liked Harry Potter.
And that's okay.
Harry Potter. Hold on. Harry Potter's a punk. I don't like him. I used to look like him in my youth. I had the big round glasses. I had the hair the right way, and I did have a scar on my forehead because I'm an idiot and I thought I was Superman, and I jumped from a jungle gym and I got a scar. It went away though. Thank you, surgery. But Percy Jackson, I was like, oh, this makes Harry Potter look like dog water. Percy Jackson is awesome. When I heard they're making a Percy Jackson movie, I flipped out. I was so excited. And then they delivered that. They delivered that garbage, and I hated it.
Yep.
But there's a new Percy Jackson TV show coming out, and I'm so excited for that. It sounds good.
Yeah.
There's
But-
also another franchise of books from our childhood being adapted to a TV show. Anybody read Redwall?
Is it?
What?
Yeah.
Is it being adapted? Wow.
No.
I think I thought I heard somewhere they're making a TV show. Let me look this
How
up
are they going to train all those mice?
I don't
What the
know.
hell is Redwall?
It's like a fantasy series with like rodents, like mice and rats and stuff.
What? Ew.
See, the real one that I was gonna say is something that was sent to me this morning. That
There already is one, but I think Amazon like picked it up to try and
That's a whole thing too. Yeah, it's like
try and make a
that's
new
I
one.
guess for our cable cutting episode. But yeah, there's Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and everyone is getting their own like bespoke productions.
they're trying to.
Maybe it was just Amazon acquired the rights to it, and there's rumors that they're making.
But that's the big
series.
thing right now,
Yep.
TV. That's the big thing. Hulu's owned by Disney, which is Disney Plus. So Disney, Amazon, and Netflix are in an all-out IP war. They want anything.
Yeah.
Anything that has any kind of nostalgic value to anybody our age because they want to make
100%.
content. And it's so funny because that leaves Paramount just sitting there. Nickelodeon Paramount just kind of sits there. And we can talk about it a little bit.
Got it.
But, Nickelodeon has power. But Paramount. And it's funny because this was brought to my attention this morning that apparently coming out in September is a live-action Clifford the Big Red Dog movie.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
No,
Yeah, I knew that
I
was
watched
coming.
the trailer this morning, and I couldn't believe it. I jaw dropped. They couldn't see it. It wasn't on camera. But I just said, what happened? Who made this? Who is this for? Is it an embezzlement scheme?
I will say, I actually kind of hope it's somewhat decent because the guy in it, Jack Whitehall, I'm a
Who?
huge fan of his.
Who, Megalo?
He plays
He's in the
What?
White Stripes.
Who Megalol? That's what I have to say.
Who Megalol?
What is Jack? What is Jack? What's his name? Jack.
Whitehall.
What has Jack Whitehall done?
He was in this British comedy series about where he was like a teacher for like the remedial class, and it was just absolutely hysterical.
Okay.
I love him to death. He's a hilarious comedian. I love his stand up. He's really talented. So I hope like this kind of garners him more work.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because when I went through the IMDb today, it was like John Cleese and Tony Hall were the two that I saw that I was like, these are people who have done things, you know. And John Cleese, he's done mostly voice acting, but he's the Monty Python man. And John Hall or Tony Hall was Arrested Development and Chuck, and he's done he's Spoonie in the Toy Story 4, and he's done all that stuff. So it's very. It's one of those things where when I saw it, I was just like, what is happening here? You know, why did they make this? Who is this for? And it's one of those things where I think that there's a lot of those movies that Forky, I'm sorry, not Spoonie. But I'm sorry. I got yelled at in chat, man. Forky.
Oh,
Forky.
no, that's fantastic.
Please get Forky right.
Yeah, Forky, man.
Forky's one of my favorite characters, honest to God.
Yeah. But it's interesting that, and I think this is where I kind of want to bring us back a little bit here. Scootish mentioned Harry Potter, and this was kind of where I was moving forward here, and I'm interested to know what you guys are thinking. Maybe Doug can take over a little bit here too. You make these movies, you make these TV shows that are based on novels or comic books or anything like that, and you get through the content that is provided. And the biggest thing back in the day, especially back when the original Harry Potter 7, 8 movies came out, they stuck to the story. 7, they broke up into 2 movies because they wanted to. And in reality, after that, it was done. We were done. No more Harry Potter. It was like that forever until they started making Wizarding World content. What happens when you run out of material, but you still want to keep making franchise movies?
Well, I think first came the Cursed Child.
Yeah,
the
stage
play.
production.
Well,
Yeah,
she wrote that. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "This sucks." What is this?
It's
But then
it's
Fantastic
really
Beasts
rough.
Was just Fantastic Beasts was just like a random spin-off book that she had written that they were like, "Oh, we can make up a story about."
Isn't
this.
like it's like
And
a
then they
picture
did.
book, right? Isn't it just a picture book?
It's like
something like
it's
that.
like a compendium book or
It's,
whatever.
yeah, it's
like
comprised of
pretend.
like short stories, though.
Yeah,
I
it's like a pretend little textbook of.
I
like,
love
this
that
is
movie,
Quidditch,
but
and
we
this
can talk
is-
about that.
This is animals in
yeah.
Harry Potter.
And,
I
and
will say-
it is an actual piece of literature from within the universe.
Yeah.
That they reference throughout Harry Potter.
Oh, she didn't even write Cursed Child. I didn't know that.
Oh, she didn't.
That's funny.
Oh.
No, it was like
Apparently, it was
ghostwritten.
ghostwritten.
Okay. I mean, it's funny though because I actually really enjoyed the Fantastic Beasts, the first movie at least.
Yeah.
And that was specific. I didn't care about the characters really. I was okay with them. I was involved. I liked it. But in my mind, what was the best part about that movie was the world building and the fact that I love New York City, but in reality, I enjoyed seeing more of that world and what it was like at the time. And that's kind of when I thought I never thought they were going to make a sequel. I never thought that was going to be. I thought it was a contained, nice little story, and I thought this opens the door for them to make other nice little contained little Harry Potter stories that take place in the Wizarding World, as Universal likes to do it. It was the second movie that I said, okay, I'm done with Harry Potter. Because it felt like the movie actually did not. Did you guys see Fantastic Beasts 2?
I never even
Crime
watched
of
the second one.
Grindelwald.
I did actually.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Harry Potter. I've seen all the Fantastic Beasts movies. And honestly,
funny.
listen, it makes no sense. I'm kind of excited for the third Fantastic Beasts movie because, like, I think it's wrong, but Johnny Depp has been fired
Yes.
incorrectly, in my opinion.
Yes.
Terrible. Justice for Johnny, please. But it's kind of cool that like the main villain has been played by a different actor in every movie.
Yep.
Like, that's kind of cool. And they're looking at Tom Hiddleston now to play the new version of him. I'm like, that's pretty dope.
I'd be interested in that. My big
Right?
thing is
I want to see Tom Hiddleston kiss Albus Dumbledore.
But my
I want
whole
him to tongue
thing,
him deep.
and my whole thing, Scootish, with that movie, is that was the definition of we are making a franchise, and we must compete with Marvel and Star Wars. The movie felt like not a first half of a story. It felt like the first 10 minutes of a story stretched out to the fact of like maybe, I don't know,
Well,
2 hours.
you know,
Nothing
I
happens.
would argue that that's the issue with a lot of these franchises, you know, and I think that's why we're getting like overloaded with franchises to bring us back to our main point to wrap up
Sure.
kind of nicely. Like a lot of these places don't think as well thought out as, you know, definitely Marvel has. I don't even think Star Wars has personally. Like
No, at
Marvel,
all.
they had
None.
point A, and they got us to Endgame. They took us from Iron Man 1
Yep.
all the way to Endgame beautifully. Not everything was probably planned out the way they wanted it to be, but there was definitely a roadmap to get them from point A to point B easily.
Yeah.
And it worked. It was
And
effective.
Star Wars, at the end of 7, they didn't even know where they were going to go with 8 or 9.
No.
You can tell.
Exactly. Star Wars has been a mess. Harry Potter has been a mess. They've all been a mess because they're just like, oh, people like this one thing, just copy paste. We'll do it again. But
Yeah.
I would argue Marvel is at least trying to like reinvent everything with every new movie. Like with every movie that Marvel puts out, there's something new. And granted, most of the time it's just a new hero. But if you'll indulge me, like Iron Man 2 was bad. We can agree with that.
I love
think
it.
We can all agree.
I
Iron Man 2 is
love
bad.
Iron Man 2.
But Iron Man 3, what happens if Tony Stark loses the suit? In Ant-Man, let's add in a second character. All of a sudden, Ant-Man has a partner now. Completely changes the dynamic of the movie. Thor 1 and 2.
Two
But
wasn't
then Thor
good.
3,
Three.
Thor 3 rocked it, and now Thor 4 is happening. And if you read the comics, we're gonna see some major shifts of the status quo. Like Marvel's not afraid to disrupt the status quo, and I think that's what has kept the franchise good and fresh and fantastic. But all these other franchises so badly don't want to mess up their status quo, because if they do, they might lose money.
Yeah. Well, speaking more into like Marvel interrupting the status quo, that's why like still to this day, one of the greatest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies is The Winter Soldier. Just because it took everything that they had built up and established it, and here's the tilt. Boom, everything came crashing down. They had to rebuild it basically from scratch
Yeah,
during the course of that movie. Amazing movie.
so good, dude.
It's really interesting to kind of think about the way, and kind of going back to this, and I want to pull Doug in on this too, is that roadmap situation. I think we've all seen Lord of the Rings here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've all seen Doug. Yes.
Yeah.
Lord
I've
of the
seen that.
Rings had
Oh, yeah.
3 years of pre-production before they even put pen to the paper. Before they even put a pen to the script of the first film, it had 3 years of pre-production, because they did not just plan Lord of the Rings, they planned the entire trilogy, and it
Yep.
shows. It shows. They planned that entire story, and it shows. It's one of those things
And-
where give it to George Lucas. As much as George Lucas is not the best director and whatever it is, he at least sat down and planned the Star Wars stories he was going to tell. He took 10 years to go from the Return of the Jedi to the Star Wars prequels. And as much as those movies are those movies, I do think from a storytelling perspective, they did what they wanted. They did what they wanted.
Yep. They told the story they were going to tell.
Yes. And going over here, they've done that with multiple other franchises, as Scootish talked about, is the Marvel thing, point A to point B. But in my mind, has any franchise, and this is my question for Doug, if you know any, done it without planning, just kind of gone, and has it succeeded? Because I can't think of any. I can't think of a single one. Hunger Games was planned. It was linear.
Yep, and another
Linear.
extra movie at the end, just like Harry Potter.
Yeah,
but
because they
I mean,
wanted to.
that had source material. Like,
Yes, linear
but
source
I guess
material.
Lord of the Rings also had source material, but as you say, they spent a lot of time, making it work pretty perfectly. I think that's a shining example of doing it right.
Yeah.
And then The Hobbit happened, unfortunately.
Which they didn't plan. The Hobbit, they didn't plan.
Phil is saying Jurassic Park was never planned.
So,
Okay.
Are you talking about the Jurassic Park? Well, actually,
Sequel.
I think that Jurassic Park is a prime example of what we don't want, because Jurassic Park
I
had
agree.
had
I was about to say.
2 source material stories, and then went off
Well,
the absolute deep end with 3.
and ignored them. Yeah, it absolutely
Yeah.
ignored them.
I think
like,
one was
I read
pretty
the book-
good. Do you think?
I read the book well after, for one, and it's the premise is there, but
Yeah.
they definitely did it way different.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually, I'm one of those weirdos who thinks that The Lost World is a better story and a better movie than Jurassic Park is. I love Jurassic Park. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But I think The Lost World itself is a better film and a better story. Which is weird because it has dinosaurs running through San Francisco, which wasn't in the book. As far as I'm aware, it wasn't in the book, I don't think.
In the
Was
chat
Lost World
here,
even
we
there?
have people talking about no pre-planning, but ended up being good Fast and Furious. I completely disagree.
Wait,
Their lack of planning has made every entry into
Guys.
that franchise a mess.
Guys, listen, I love the Fast and the Furious
They're-
movies. I do.
They're fun.
No, I love them because I go in and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
fucking man.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going in it. I'm not seeing like, wow, this acting choice that Vin Diesel made
Vin
really
Diesel.
shows off the importance of family. No,
Yeah.
I go in and I'm expecting explosions,
Yeah.
stupid sex jokes, women to be marginalized. Like it's not fucking high film.
Yeah.
If you think
no,
it's high film,
absolutely
go
not.
get your head checked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, people in chat were saying it wasn't planned, which absolutely.
Oh, yes, okay.
you know what? You know what? You know what? One that I think actually does work, though, that wasn't. I found one. I figured one out. A franchise
Tell me.
that does not plan their movies, but I think have worked out more or less, is the 007 film franchise. I feel like
True.
most of those
But-
movies are marginally good,
I
especially.
feel like they're more self-contained
well, yeah,
within their own individual entry into the franchise,
but
more
not
so
really
than
though,
everything
TB,
else.
because each Bond kind of continues story arc most of the time. But I do agree with you. Like, for example, the last what was it? I don't know what the last one was, but like Skyfall, and then the one before that, and then they were all that's all overarching story between that particular James Bond. Same with the past ones. But you're right.
People are mentioning Game of Thrones as something that went off the rails eventually.
Oh,
Uh,
we had that.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
on our list
Yeah.
of things to
we,
talk about.
we
for sure.
literally talked about it, and Jigbert tried to fight me on it.
I'm
With
not
Nerf
trying to
Ninja
fight you
Sports.
on it. No, I'm not. I refuse to fight you on it.
But I said, yo, the first 3 seasons, mwah, brilliant art.
Had source material.
The minute season 4 happened, you can see a gradual shift every season up until
Yeah.
the 8th season, where it's the utter dog shit.
That's
that we
because
literally
the
all had to
brothers,
sit down and watch.
the directors, the brothers, the writers of that wanted to tank it because they had a deal with Disney going.
Yeah, they wanted
that?
to go. They wanted to go to Star Wars.
Yeah, they wanted to go do
And
Star
that,
Wars.
in turn, because of that decision, made them lose Star Wars.
Because yes, which is funny because I watched this whole article, or not, I'm sorry, I watched this whole video that George R.R. Martin said that to complete the story he wanted to tell, they needed 12 seasons of the show. 12 seasons of 20 episodes each in order to tell the story that he wanted to tell. and he was told at the beginning of season 7 that they were ending at season 8 and they'd get 6 episodes. And that was that so it was this massive thing because you're right. They were selfish. The two brothers, I forget what their names are. They're nuts, and I don't even know why HBO decided to give them the creative decisions here. But they were selfish and did not want another showrunner to come on and run that show. They wanted to be, because Game of Thrones, the D brothers, they wanted to go down in history as the showrunners of Game of Thrones. They did not want anyone else to touch that show, and so they sunk it. They sunk the show, in my opinion.
Well, you said that George R. R. Martin said that the story he wanted to tell would take whatever. I would argue that there is not a story that he wants to tell anymore. I think he's done.
He's not done though, because they're making a whole nother show that he wrote the first season of. He wrote the first season of this I'm sorry.
Writing that book.
Is that book not out yet?
Nope.
Oh. There's it's like a Targaryen story. They put out promo images a month ago about it, and it's like a short novel or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. It's House of Targaryen. Yeah.
And also, don't forget about the hit video game he's putting out, Elden Ring.
Oh yes.
I know we said we weren't going to talk about video games. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but that's from software, and that's not a franchise.
He's been hands off that for like a couple of years. I watched an interview the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was with Miyazaki in like the world building and story building and stuff. And then as soon as he got done with that, he was out. And then it went straight to like art design, all that, and that's the bulk of what was going on. So he's been hands off on that for like 2 years or better.
And I think that's cool.
Well, I'm really excited to play Dark Souls by George R. R. Martin.
Yeah. But it's funny because I also
will suck right at the very end. The last half of it will be very bad.
Oh, because he just walked out of the writer's room halfway through the concepts. You already got everything. Put dragons in it.
Whatever. Who cares?
But
wait, did we add the incest? Is there enough incest?
I want more boob. But basically, it's funny because I also think that I really think that Game of Thrones also suffers from that studio network style thing, same as AMC, where HBO does not have, and I actually still think, unfortunately, to this day, I do not think they have filled the void that is Game of Thrones. I do not. They tried with Westworld. Westworld season 1 was actually, in my opinion, one of the greatest television shows ever written. Westworld season 1. If you've never watched it, go watch season 1. Stop then, because season 2 and 3 were absolutely terrible.
No. I think we've scratched, what this could be.
Yeah.
And I think if you guys want to see a more in-depth thing on like just one specific franchise, and we can determine whether or not we're being overloaded with this franchise, why not tweet at us, my guys, using the hashtag. Yeah.
He's doing it. He's doing it.
MWTB.
Yeah.
Hashtag MWTB.
Tell us what franchise you want us to tell you whether it's overloaded or not, and we'd be happy to devote an entire episode just to that franchise. But right now, Doug, you know what time I think it is?
It's time for questions.
Doug,
before that.
There's something before that.
The boy of the week. What time is it?
Boy of the week!
Yeah! Boy of the week!
Boy of the week! Now, boys, please let me say, when Boy of the Week segment, that's spelled BOI. For anyone can be a boy. That includes guys, gals, and non-binary pals. The I stands for inclusivity. I say that all the time.
Do you really? I've never heard you say. I love it. It's great.
That's the bunk bed boy shit.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just to make sure everyone's included. I just wasn't expecting you to laugh like that.
No, I've never heard it. It was really great. I didn't know if you came up with it on the spot. It was great.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. Boys. Our boy of the week this week is none other than Fried Biscuits. Fried Biscuits, where are you? Are you still here? I hope you're
go,
still
Fried
here.
Fried biscuits.
Otherwise,
Fried
it's
Biscuits.
embarrassing.
Boy of the week. Everybody in chat, give a clap for Fried Biscuits.
The
Give a
boy of the
clap.
week. If you're on audio right now, I want you to clap right now. That's great. Oh man. Yes, fried biscuits is our boy of the week, and you should all go check them out. If you're in the chat, we'll do an SO. Guys, it's question time. We're gonna probably touch on some of
Now it's
these,
question time.
but I'm really excited though that we're gonna be able to do that like deep dive into a singular franchise, whether it be Marvel. There's gonna be hot takes flying, dude. There's gonna be hot takes flying.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. Do you want me to start with the
All right.
questions here?
Nope.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
All right. So our first question comes from somebody on the internet, and it is, who is your favorite Marvel superhero before the Marvel movie franchise took off? Iron Man 1. So what was your favorite like film or I guess character that happened before it? And I'm trying to remember other ones that I liked other than Sam Raimi, but I don't know. Doug.
I probably like Spider-Man. Yeah.
Mine was absolutely Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Gonna be boring here. Say Spider-Man. It's
Yeah.
like it's not even just like the Sam Raimi movies. It has nothing to do with them actually. It has everything to do with the countless cartoons of Spider-Man they've shoved down my throat as a kid. I just
Yeah.
like the whole Spider-Man like lifestyle. It spoke to me as a kid, and I needed Spider-Man as a child.
Did you ever have the little gloves with the like silly string on it?
TB, you get out of my head. You know I get
Lego Spider-Man with I had the train where he stops the train.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
super
yeah.
fun like hero for kids. Like he swings around.
Yeah.
And swinging's fun. Like
Yo,
it's
But
so
I'm
fun.
actually
straight
just-
up. I have to buy those little silly string things now, right?
Yeah.
But I'm actually trying to figure out, were there other I mean, I guess Fantastic Four came out back then, and
X-Men. A lot of
Well,
X-Men.
X-Men, but again, the Marvel IP was so split up back then that like I'm trying to
I
remember.
think X-Men in that era was a little too mature for the
Yeah.
age I was at that time.
I think the first X-Men movie I tried to watch, I was in the hospital with appendicitis or something. And I remember it was either like, the pain and the drugs or like the movie just being bad. I remember falling asleep in it and not really connecting with the Hugh Jackman led X-Men movies at all. I love the movie Logan, but
Yeah.
I truly do believe those movies were kind of like you had to be there for them in order to like really appreciate them.
It's weird because I've watched a lot of them, and I agree. I just forced myself through a lot of them, but I truly do believe that if they do bring Wolverine to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would probably give anything to see Hugh Jackman do it again. I really would.
I don't think he will.
No.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Radcliffe would be a perfect Wolverine,
Honestly,
Okay,
I think
Interesting.
you're onto something there.
that'd be interesting.
though. So we got the next question now.
All right, let's
Phil
do it.
says
What do you
Blade real
think-
quick.
Oh, sorry.
Blade is another one, but carry on.
Oh, Blade. What do you think about the introduction of so many new characters in Phase 4? Are you nervous the MCU will lose its charm with less old characters and more new? I want to tackle this really quick because a lot of people
Make it
missed
happen.
this interview.
Yeah.
So the MCU as we know it ended because there's a movie called Endgame. That's the end. Like that was always the intention of Endgame. So Phase 4 or whatever we're doing right now is a brand new thing. We're starting basically from Iron Man 1. WandaVision is our Iron Man 1 right
That's
now.
all I have to say about that one.
I'm not arguing about whether or
I've got
not
the
WandaVision
big
is
hot
supposed to be-
takes right now where I gotta say
Your
it,
hot
dude.
takes result in fights. I
It's
don't
not.
wanna hear
It's
it.
not a fight. It's not a fight. It's just one of those things where I'm sitting here and where I'm watching Loki. We're not gonna spoil Loki. I think Loki is the best Marvel TV show to come out yet. I really enjoy it. I think it's amazing. They're hiring new actors, but my issue with it is now we've officially made it into a point where literally Any new character that comes on to the show or to any Marvel property, there's all of these conspiracy theories and all these crazy things, and there's just that where they're just like, it's this character from this comic book. Oh, it's that character from that guy. This was a background character in this movie. Blah 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 blah. And I'm tired.
Okay.
I'm tired.
I'm just gonna tell you, that's always been the case for me. I've always done that crazy stuff. I think you're now just exposed to it as well, but that has always been there from Iron Man 1.
But why can't there just be normal characters? Why can't they give me a supporting cast without making it this person's gonna have a massive movie in 4 years?
Have you read a Marvel comic ever?
It's the source.
Where's my Pepper Potts? Where's my Pepper Potts?
She's in there.
Pepper Potts has her own fucking comic book.
Yeah, she's a great character, but it's one of those things where
they're appealing. They're appealing specifically to the type of person who wants to like have these conspiracy theories.
Pepper
Put
could
in like
get her
little
own
tiny
movie.
references.
So
could have gotten her own movie, bro.
in my opinion, like the mainstream appeal of the like Marvel series at Endgame was at its peak, and there are some people that don't bridge that gap. I am among that group, but there's like a whole new generation that wasn't like attached to the original comic books that wants to hang on and experience it. I've jumped ship. I probably won't watch another Marvel thing ever.
I'm going
really?
to. This is my thing, TB. I'm watching them because out of spite right now. I'm watching them out of spite. I like Loki. I really do. It's really fun. I like that it's fun and it's exciting. But movies wise, and I think I'll save it for the Marvel show that we might do hopefully soon. I don't give two toots about any of these. Like, I don't care about Black Widow, the movie coming out. I have no interest in it. I think it's a cash grab, and believe me,
I don't care about Black Widow either. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where the next quote-unquote Marvel movie that I'm excited about, there's two of them. Oh, well, actually three. There's three of them. I'm excited for Thor: Love and Thunder, because you take Thor and you put him with the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's going to be amazing and super fun. I'm excited for...
Oh, no.
Is that not
that's
it?
not what's happening.
Is that not it?
No.
Am I... Oh, is that...
No.
Okay, see, I'm not even there then. I don't even know. I'm excited for the duo, that the duo... This goes back to a show on Amazon called The Boys. We can talk about that, too, one day. Really good superhero show.
In a movie?
No, it's a show. Great show. Really great show, actually. But it's one of those things where I'm excited about those character dynamics, so whatever film they're gonna duo in, and I'm extremely excited about the next Spider-Man and the next Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is because it's directed by Sam Raimi. That's all I care about. That's it. I don't care about anything else. You know?
I'm really excited for Shang-Chi.
That was one entry in the franchise looking ahead that did kind of interest me, was the Doctor Strange
multiverse,
multiverse, possibly pulling in the old Spider-Man's rumor mill, whatever.
Rumor mill.
Well, that's apparently the new Spider-Man movie, and I'll try to keep this brief because I know Doug doesn't know a lot of it. The new Spider-Man stuff is based on One Day More, that comic book. And I'm so
you lost me, dude.
That.
I don't read. I can't read. I just watch the shows, and that's why I judge them.
All right, but Spider-Man's gonna make a pretty huge fucking decision. It's really cool. There will be ramifications felt throughout Marvel because of it. I'm really excited about Shang-Chi. The reason why is because the actor Simu Liu is a part of this Netflix show that I love to death. It's called Kim's Convenience. I'm
sorry. I have to correct us. I have to correct a statement made by the boys here. I just got a text message from a friend saying Phase 4 ended ended after Spider-Man. You fools. So apparently, the first Spider-Man was the actual end of Phase 4. I don't know anything.
Whatever.
Spider-Man Far From Home, according to the wiki page.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got called fools. That's all you gotta know.
We can argue that.
Yeah,
that's a little bit up in the air, but like the Russo brothers
couldn't care.
Russo brothers wrote end
I have the
game
page open. Never care.
as the end. Shut up. They're wrong. They're wrong, and I'm right.
All right, next question. Did
Marvel
you watch
episode
the
coming soon.
iCarly? Did you watch the iCarly reboot?
No.
Yes,
No.
I
Nope.
did.
I never watched iCarly in the
I
first
did.
place.
I did watch the new iCarly.
I
I-
know the
I-
original theme song. It's a banger, but that's
Mhm.
it.
I love it. It's just like the old show, but it's made for people my age. That it's a little weird because like the writing and the laugh track is definitely like, wow, this is definitely just like me watching it when I was like 12 or whatever. I will say the only thing that annoys me is they use their iPhones or their Pear phones to film, and now they have iPhone 12 Pro Maxes because they have the 3 camera just set up just like an iPhone 12 Pro. So obviously, if you're filming a video, you would think they would just film it like this, right?
Yeah.
They film it like this with the front-facing camera.
Why?
I don't know.
I can't even see, like, there's no viewfinder that direction.
I have no idea. I don't know. I
That's
don't know.
ridiculous.
Every episode of iCarly is filmed, and I mean the mythical web show, not the actual show.
Yeah.
But every episode of their web show is filmed with the front-facing iPhone camera, and I'm like, God, no wonder Carly's show fucking sucks now. The camera
Well, maybe
quality's
just she,
garbage.
like,
Wait,
she needs to look
does
at
Freddy
herself.
not
Maybe
shoot
it's like
it
a
anymore?
selfie stick situation.
No, Freddy shoots it, but he sets it up with the front-facing camera.
So he points the camera, the viewfinder at her.
Freddie,
don't-
what are you
Like
doing?
I
this?
don't- dude, I
he
don't get
does
it.
this? Like he?
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
How does he see it? What the?
I don't know.
He does.
I don't know.
I'm gonna freak out.
Dude, I don't get it.
But it's funny because that iCarly, iCarly is the definitive like thing. So I just did a show for a college about a couple weeks ago where we had the CEO of like we had the CEO of Paramount Paramount for Paramount Plus on, and the first thing she said was, "We are marketing we are doing this all nostalgia based now. We just rebooted iCarly. We brought back the Rugrats." She said this whole big thing, and I'm just like thinking here. I'm just like,
The new Rugrats is pretty good too.
is it really? I don't know. It's crazy. I did not watch. My stance on iCarly reboot is no Gibby, no Jyggy. That's the rule. No Gibby, no Jyggy.
I'm okay with the no Gibby. He's not there because of like social reasons, and I think
I
that's
know.
fine.
But they could have written him better. If he was worried about that, they could have actually written him something.
No. Because like when he was a kid, he got roped into being do the Gibby, and where he takes his shirt
Yes.
off and he's the fat kid. He's not fat
the Gibby
anymore.
kid. That's why I said it'd
he has
be
body
redemption.
dysmorphia. He has body. No, but like that doesn't matter because like
Okay.
it's a meme. It got
Mm.
shared relentlessly. He is still seen on the streets. People yell at him every day, "Take your shirt off, do the Gibby." Like he's not that fat kid anymore. He doesn't want to
No.
be anymore. I
That's fair.
don't blame him for not wanting to go back to that role. Like it sucks because I love Gibby too, but I love him because he did the Gibby.
No, I like
I love him
because it
was
was
that
just
that kid.
a fun clown that I had fun with. Like that was
Right.
But I didn't.
But you
yeah.
you can't fix him.
True.
All right.
All right, question
Let's go on.
4. Which was your favorite Marvel movie in Phase 1? Phase
Good
1
Great
question.
Doug answer
Good
first.
questions going on right
Phase
now, guys.
1, for anyone who doesn't know, is Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and the Avengers. Of those, I've only seen Iron Man 2, and the Avengers. So, I really like the Avengers. I thought it was a very good thing. I didn't see the other movies that sort of led up to it, but I liked it. It was a lot of fun.
I agree. I'm an Avengers boy.
I like Captain America.
Mm-hmm. That's
think-
fair.
I
It's-
think
it's
Captain
between those two for me.
I think Captain America was really good as like as a step away. It was weird. It was the one that stepped away from Phase 1. But I gotta go with the original Iron Man. You know,
That's fair.
I do. I
It's
gotta.
very good too. Yeah.
You would
Jon
be Iron
Favreau
Man
did a
fan.
great job of setting up 10 years of content.
Yep.
He did.
Yep.
Cool.
I
Next
agree.
question.
All right.
Easy question.
We got
Thank
here
you.
is would you want to see other people pick up the mantle of a certain hero Like, oh man, we're getting a little spoilers here for people who've not watched.
I say it's kosher.
Okay,
I don't care.
like
You give it to
Sam became Iron Man or Captain America. To be this is common in comics, but all of I can't read, bro. It's unheard of in films. Okay. What if there's a different Iron Man? So the question is would you guys want recasts? That's all you gotta know. Do you want recasts?
Great question. Great question. Here's the thing. There's already a new Iron Man taking up the mantle of Iron Man. Her name is Rai Williams. She's getting a TV show called Ironheart. That's already happening. They're already
Isn't it his daughter? Isn't it supposed to be?
No.
No.
It is not his daughter. No.
Okay. I don't know anything. I'm just here. My stance is if it's story driven, sure. If it's because they want to make more movies, and no, stop. Just stop.
No, Morgan is going to be Rescue in like 15 years. That's true. Listen, like I know Ironheart and like Rescue are like different characters, and they're not exactly like Iron Man, but like they're wearing a suit of Iron Man armor. They're basically Iron Man. Like, you know, we're just splitting hairs. But I'm down to see people pick up the mantle of being certain heroes. I think we're gonna see that. I think we're gonna see that no matter what with Black Panther, Forever Wakanda, or Wakanda Forever.
Well, like, and it happened in Spider-Man. There's Miles Morales. It happened in Batman.
Yeah.
There was the animated series where
Nightwing.
like he got taken over when Bruce Wayne was old. Yeah. So
Nightwing.
like,
Right, but I would say it's never happened in like a major film franchise, you know?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
how many Spider-Man movies have there been? How many reboots? Just the 3?
No, but like it's
Those
never
aren't the
happened where they're like
same-
I
still
know,
telling,
but they're all
the same
Peter
world.
Parker. Like, it's
No,
definitely
I hear you.
still-
They're like
The only
it's
Miles
a
Morales
precedent.
film movie we've had is Spider-Verse, if I'm correct, and that still had Peter Parker in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
but we'll see. I mean, do you want to see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man when he's 70 or something? Like,
no, of course
No.
not.
yeah. So I
But
feel
at
like
that
there's,
point,
there's
at
an
what
in-universe
point-
excuse for it. They're going to make the movies
Yeah.
anyway. And it's, you know, if it's Peter Parker, if it's Miles Morales, it doesn't matter. There's going to be new actors cast eventually as the characters sort of, or as the actors
Yeah.
sort of age out.
Right. Just to explain, Doug.
I understand the premise.
okay,
I
okay,
think
okay.
I think it doesn't matter. I think they're going to make movies no matter what. If they're going to
I
go
think they
ahead
will
and
as well.
adapt a lot of like comics and stuff anyway, like they might as well do that because the comics have done this as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page, but it sounds like we
Sure.
are.
Yeah.
All right.
I understand the question. It's just
Yeah.
I worded my answer poorly probably.
No. You're good. No, I'm
All right.
just being stupid brain.
Next question, Scoosh.
There's a lot of talk about sequels, but what about re-releases or retellings of old movies? Live action remakes, are those purely cash grabs? Is there value to them? They're just cash grabs.
Cash
They're
grabs.
just cash grabs.
I've seen enough of them to
Yep.
know they are just cash grabs.
Huh?
Yeah, like
I
I
haven't
mean-
seen Cruella yet because it's
Don't-
kind of a different take. But
Is that bad
I
too?
don't think it's really worthwhile.
Okay. So you know why is Batman Batman?
Because of it, because he's Batman because of, his parents were killed in an alleyway and he took up a life of crime because he saved the city.
Why did he pick the bat as his symbol?
Oh, that I don't know.
Because he's afraid of bats.
He's afraid of
afraid
bats.
of
Yeah.
Right. Cruella's parents were murdered by a Dalmatian, and she's afraid of Dalmatians. That's why
No.
I'm not joking.
No!
I am not
Batman
joking.
her. They Batmaned her.
Wait. Hold on.
She's
Wait.
just Batman.
I need to ask this. Wait, Jackson, you watch this.
She's
Excuse you.
shitty Batman.
You watched
No,
this, right?
I read this online.
Okay.
I couldn't put myself through the movie.
Because I was gonna say, has Disney $30 premium movie released a good movie yet?
No, it's I love $30.
It's
never
$36, is
$30.
it not? Is it
No, I
not?
thought it was released. Pretty sure it was just real drop.
$30.
No, it was
Princess.
the premiere access.
No, yeah, you had to buy a ticket.
Was
to
it Premiere Access?
It was
Yeah.
premiere access.
Oh.
Has there been a good premiere access movie yet?
Yeah. Ryan the Last Dragon.
I heard that wasn't that good compared to like
I loved
Moana.
it. I loved it.
Okay.
It wasn't a musical.
Okay.
How can you compare the two?
Made by the same.
They're different. They're
same-
inherently different Disney movies.
Yeah, but they marketed it. I feel like they did poor marketing then with that.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Because
Oh, it
I
is
have not,
Premiere
I
Access.
as somebody who has not paid $30 for any Premiere Access movie, nor have I watched any of the Premiere Access movies, I just haven't felt the need to. And just like I don't feel the need to with the movie that was supposed to come out 2 years ago, Black Widow. It was shot 5 years ago, Black Widow. The movie was shot 5 years ago, dude. The movie.
Yeah. Times are tough.
It was shot 5 years ago.
It's not been a good year for theaters,
I
unfortunately.
understand why they waited to release Black Widow. Although I think telling the story of Black Widow now is kind of dumb.
Oh, according to my friend who's texting me, Miles Morales was apparently a child in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah,
it was just like some random
you don't,
kid.
You don't see him. You don't see him, but Donald Glover's character makes reference towards him. Donald Glover's character is the Prowler, the kid, the Miles's uncle in Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Donald Glover in a Spider-Man movie, but why can't he just play Miles Morales? Like, I mean, not right now, but I don't know.
They missed that boat.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm down for him playing the Prowler. I guess that's a cool villain. Anyway, should we go on to the next question, or anything else we want to talk about in this one?
No, let's do a next question.
Okay,
Let's do the next one. TB, can
All
you get
right.
this one? I want Scootish to do the last one.
What book series would you want to be adapted into a movie or movie series?
I don't read.
I have a very very heated one that I have opinions on. I want H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness to be made into a movie.
I don't know.
Guillermo del Toro has had a screenplay written of it for like 10 years and nobody will pick it up. It sucks. I'm getting echo from Jyggy.
What?
Yeah,
really?
Me too.
Really? What?
Yeah.
I turned me down.
Jyggy, I only get echo from you.
No, I turned it down.
I just turned Jyggy down on my end.
Yeah. I think in my world, I don't read. I have the last book I read was, I don't actually know. I think it was a school book, probably. It was like I read a lot of plays. Not really, even though anymore. I used to. But if I'm gonna talk about like an external media that I'd love to be turned into, I'm going to probably pull this thing. I would like HBO to pick up the BioShock series and make a BioShock TV show in the underwater.
That'd be good.
That's what I want. Do that. That's I stole that from my good friend Dennis, but in reality, he talked me through the entire thing, and I agree, 100%. HBO, you should do it.
Word up. I don't read, so I can't really add to this.
Yeah. Do what I did.
Yeah,
take
I was
another.
struggling to find one that hasn't been adapted. I was thinking of all sorts
take
most
another
of them.
outside media.
Every
Scoot.
book that I've read has kind of already been adapted.
Yeah, and frankly, I don't think there is one that I would want to be. Like, there's lots of books that I treasure that I don't think.
I
don't think
enjoy
would
books
merit
staying
from it.
books sometimes.
Yeah, I don't need things to be movies. I don't watch movies anyway. We know that. So.
My pick for the longest time would have been Doctor Sleep by Stephen King, but it finally did get adapted in 2019. It was a pretty good movie. It's the sequel to The Shining.
Right. Oh, I do remember that movie.
Yep. It was pretty good.
All right, final question.
Shall we move on to the final question?
Final question.
I'm very excited for this one.
Great. What do you think about the idea of a Star Wars or a Marvel world in Kingdom Hearts? Who wrote this? What a stupid question.
Oh no.
No, it's not a stupid question. It's listen, take it or leave it. They're gonna, do whatever they do.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I know Star Wars is like super popular, or I think, yeah, Star Wars is super popular over in Japan, but Marvel not as much. So I don't think we'd ever get a Marvel world. I know they had plans for a Star Wars world for a game that got scrapped and ended up becoming Kingdom Hearts Union Cross on the phone. But there was a mobile game on the DS planned, and it was going to include Star Wars, but they ended up dropping it. So I think Star Wars is more likely than Marvel.
Was Pirates of the Caribbean popular in Japan?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It actually very much is.
That's why you can on Disney Plus watch and listen with the Japanese audio if you've ever wanted to do that. TV
weird.
Disney Japan is actually like really good at like like promoting their movies.
Huh. Interesting.
I feel like it's a little too on the nose, right? I mean, I guess Kingdom Hearts worlds are always on the nose, but like, I don't know. I feel I of course I want Star Wars to be in anything, but in reality, in my mind it would be the closest thing it would be the Tron world, but like in my mind, they kind of already did Tron. They already did Pirates of the Caribbean. They've already done that stuff. I'm interested to know, I guess, why or what it would be like. Like, how would they rope it in there? Plus, they already have starships.
Oh, they'd find a way. They'd find a way.
But currently, if they were to come out with a new Kingdom Hearts game, like relatively soon,
no new Kingdom Hearts game until 2022.
Yeah, but if it's in development right now, if they add a new world from a Disney franchise, the only option I see outside of Star Wars is Moana, but then you could make the argument, but they've already done Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just boats again. You know?
Yeah, but Moana at least has like magic water function, and there could be some really cool stuff. Islandy. I mean, granted, they already have the island.
It's hard because Nomura doesn't like to add two of the same world, like Jungle Book and Tarzan would be very similar.
Yeah.
So
but we haven't seen Tarzan in years.
Tarzan. What?
Tarzan was in one.
It was
just a wild example that I had.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head. So like if they like Star Wars and like the Birth by Sleep Stitch world in space wouldn't go well together because like two space. You know what I'm saying? So like Moana, there's an inherent problem because Ocean Island contradicts Destiny Island, and then like that's tough. So there's a lot of moving parts with choosing Kingdom Hearts worlds. I don't know if Star Wars or Marvel would ever actually truly fit Kingdom Hearts. I think that should kind of stay just like kind of pure Disney. But you know,
I think they could. I think they'd have an easier time, and you said this, Scoot. I think they'd have an easier time shoehorning Star Wars into it than they would with Marvel.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree.
But notice how I said
put them on the
shoehorn.
It's definitely.
I feel
it's less wide of.
I feel
like
if
stormtroopers.
If any franchise currently, it would be Star Wars.
I don't know why, but I can kind of picture in my head Sora trying to use the Force, and then like
lightsaber keyblade.
Like he's like, "Close your eyes, Sora. You can do it." And like
a keyblade made out of lightsaber.
Just goes shh, and then Luke does it, and Sora's just like, "Wow."
Yeah,
I can kind of picture that. I don't know why, but
you think Luke would be the partner? I feel like they wouldn't pick Luke.
I think that they would go original trilogy.
Okay,
I think they would go new trilogy.
I don't think new. I agree.
They would go original trilogy,
yeah.
And the reason why is because then they can, if it's well received, then they can go back and double dip in the world.
Yeah. Gotta be prequel so they can bring back Jar Jar.
Yeah. I just don't think that they'll do. I feel like if they do any partners, it would be like R2D2 and C3PO, where they could easily get Anthony Daniels to come in for $2 and do the voice. But like in my mind, I think maybe we'd see them, but like think of it like the Frozen world where. Or
Donald looks like R2D2 and Goofy looks like C3PO.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And maybe they do
Incredible.
the Pirates of the Caribbean world where you
The-
run into them, but they're not your partners.
Yeah.
The Frozen World, there were a couple of issues with the Frozen World that,
Yeah.
that's a whole thing.
It was a shot-for-shot recreation of the movie.
Basically.
No.
Did you
that's
like that?
Part of the problem. The Frozen World?
Did you like that it was a literal shot-for-shot recreation of the movie?
No, I'm telling you, I don't want to get into it. It's the end of the episode. Let's wrap it up. This is a whole discussion in and of itself.
Kingdom Hearts franchise overload franchise overload coming soon.
It would
Oh.
work. It would work. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you everyone
That's
for
all I got.
watching or listening.
Yeah.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, or whatever you do on your. Give us 5 stars.
Tweet us out at #MWTB.
Yeah, if you like today's discussion, if you have a recommendation for a franchise overload that we can talk more about, maybe do a deep dive, maybe actually do more than an hour of research on, go ahead and tweet MWTB. We'd love to see it. And that's the end of the show. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
But
Wait, did we add the incest? Is there enough incest?
I want more boob.